How's it going, folks? Hope you're all doing well out there today. So, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the new album from Jack Starr. This is Jack Starr's Burning Star. The name of this album is Souls of the Innocent. And again, you all know by now, before I get into that nitty gritty, let's check out the cover. So, boom, there it is. Take a look at that. I dig this cover on every front. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. I mean, aesthetically, you look at it, I mean, it looks sick. You got this like phoenix. I mean, it's almost like a dragon phoenix kind of there in the background with the fire all going out with the wings and the dragon head and all that stuff. And you got this lady, almost looking like some sort of sorceress or something like that, standing though below it as if she's conjuring this thing, or if that's like, her spirit, within her or whatnot. This big old cool looking sword there to her side, and like a gravestone on either side, and just the way that Burning Star, logo looks up there in the top, it just looks so sick. So sick. It captures like that old school kind of look, but and I just dig it. I just dig it. I think it looks so tight. Again, and it just screams like heavy metal or power metal in the classic sense. So I love it. Both aesthetically, it looks sick when you look at it. You're like, dude, I gotta hear what's on this bad boy. I mean, look at that. Look at that cover. It's awesome. Just look at it. What, you just look at it? Just look. Anywho, that's a little Ed Bassmaster nugget there for anyone familiar with that YouTuber. Good stuff, good pranks. But anywho, yeah, and then from the other side, how I like to discuss, if you were to be just browsing the CD or vinyl shop and looking through, and you see this cover, this album, and you've never heard of them before or anything, would this give you a good indication on what the album sounds like? Yes, it would. Again, it just screams power metal, heavy metal, and in that classic sense, like that 80s kind of sense, almost like the new wave of traditional heavy metal style, also thrown in for good measure. I mean, I could picture this being like in a cassette or whatnot, back like in the 80s during the big boom, really, of the foundations of what we now know, as modern power metal and all that stuff. So, I just A plus on both fronts. A plus. I just love this cover. I love it. It's perfect. But so for the album itself now, this bad boy has got 12 songs on there. One of them's counted as a bonus, and comes in at about 1 hour. Great length of time. Sometimes an hour can tend to drag a little bit, but with this album, that is not the case. And anyone not familiar with Jack Starr, he has been around since like the early 80s, doing, creating music and different bands and all that stuff. So he has left his mark for sure in the metal scene over the years, and he's still ticking, still churning, the metal gears, if you will, metal gear. But anywho, so yeah, this is his latest offering, under the moniker of Jack Starr's Burning Star. And if you're familiar with them, you'll definitely find familiarity here. And if you're not familiar with them, or with this group here, you're in for a real treat here, folks, because I'm going to tell you, it really is just like this classic heavy power metal style with some new wave of traditional heavy metal thrown in, and little inklings here and there of maybe like a little bit of melodic rock, very, very minor, but it's there occasionally. There's some shades of it. But so what you're going to get is just top-notch musicianship. I mean, the guitar work. First of all, the production, the mixing, and everything sounds great. Sounds flawless. You can hear every instrument nice and clear, and the songwriting, or just the arrangement of the songs. Everything is very tight, and you can tell these are professionals here. These are folks who know what they're doing, putting this album together, and the musicians, they all know what they're doing. So everything really sounds great, just from an audio perspective. And for the musicianship, I mean, Jack Starr, he's the guitarist and the songwriter and whatnot of this, and the guitar work is just amazing. You get all kinds of what you would expect of this album. It really kind of runs the through the spectrum of what you would consider, like a heavy metal, power metal type of album. You have your real speedy tracks, then you have your more kind of methodical rhythmic tracks, and then you have some more sweeping kind of track. You really get a little bit of everything here, and it all just works together so well. So on the guitar front, I mean, you're getting, like I said, the real speedy licks that are just ripping through the songs. You get your chugging rhythms, the chugging riffs that kind of just drive the song forward, and then you get these sweeping, guitar solos and very melodic guitar melodies going throughout. So guitar lovers, you're in for a treat here. You're gonna love a lot of the fancy guitar work going on here. Um, the drums are fantastic. They can be real quick. It really does well keeping pace with everything. And some great fills and just some great sounds. And the bass work there. There's one song in particular. I think it's actually, spoiler alert, the song that I'm going to recommend y'all listen to if you're just to give the album one chance. All Out War in particular. The bass work is great throughout, but on that song in particular, oh man, you can really hear it going in the background. It almost sounds like an upright bass. I don't think it is, but it almost has that quality. But I think he's doing it on the standard bass. But oh man, yeah, it's great. So the musicianship is just top notch here, and the vocals. Oh, the vocals is just the icing on the cake. He just does such a great job, and there are more power metal screams here than there can never be too many, for me. So I was just delighted with how many times he would do like a power metal scream, and man, and it would just go with the music so well. Again, the songwriting and the arrangement, it's almost like not like a love letter to the genre or anything like that, because Jack Starr, he was part of that whole scene. So I feel like a love letter to the genre would be more of like a modern band, doing a homage or whatnot. But this feels more of just someone who knows this scene, knows the genre, knows how it was back then, and is able to just capture its essence still in the modern age, and it just sounds so natural. That's really what it is. It's that sound of that classic 80s heavy power metal, but it's with a slight modern flavor thrown in, a slight modern sheen, if you will. But at its heart, it really has that essence of the sound and everything that made the music then so beloved, and what still makes that music, from back then, still so beloved, and why so many bands, are kind of replicating that sound and whatnot. But here, this is not a replication. This is, again, someone who knows what he's doing, and it's a genuine, genuine sound here. And so, the music will be going, and it'll kind of build, and then the vocalist will hit a nice power metal scream, and then boom, the music will hit in again, and it'll kind of get rhythmic or speedy. Everything just lands so beautifully that you just can't help but get into it. You just cannot help but get into it. So, it starts out with the intro, the Ascension. It's very short. It's just kind of like a little instrumental, opening, just to kind of get you in the mood. It's like your little warm up, before a soccer or football match. where you do your stretches, you do all that kind of stuff. That's really what this is. It's warming you up. And then Demons Behind Me, track 2. This hits you right out the gate. It's one of the speedy type of heavy metal kind of tracks. Track 3, I Am the Sinner, kind of takes it into that more methodical, chugging kind of new wave of traditional heavy metal sort of style. And this variety just continues throughout. So like I said, you really are getting a nice variety of this style. At its heart, I guess would be heavy metal, but it's heavily power metal, and again with some of that new wave of traditional heavy metal thrown in there for good measure. So there is a lot here. My personal favorite song is track 7, Ships in the Night. Oh man, this one to me is more on the power metal side, and there's some symphonic elements to it, and it just has such a great melody. That's another thing, that this album is very, very melodic, especially in the chorus, but even in the verses, the music and everything. It's a very melodic album, even when it's ripping. When it's ripping, there's still a nice melody that you can, attach to and whatnot. But yeah, track 7, Ships in the Night. I highly recommend that song. Just absolutely wonderful. I would say that song is fantastic, in my opinion. Another one of my favorites is track 9, Road to Hell. This one's got a real heavy guitar, real heavy kind of hard-hitting sound to it, which is befitting of the title. This album, it really, any fans of heavy metal, power metal, you're gonna, in my opinion, really like this. It is a top-notch album, and the more I listen to it, the more I even like it. Like, I liked it the first time through, but the more I listen to it, the more I like it. It just is a really great, consistent, all-around, solid album. Again, top notch musicianship and top notch songwriting. Jack Starr, he is a man who knows what he's doing when it comes to heavy metal, and this album's just fantastic. Truly, I was honestly surprised at how good it is and how much I enjoy it. So you all know, if you're just gonna give the album one chance, one song, you're like, Ranger, tell me one song to listen to decide if I want to listen to the whole album or not. So it's kind of a tough choice, but at the end of the day, I went with track 10, which is All Out War. I think this gives you the best, in one song, the best idea of what the album holds. It's very melodic, it's quite speedy, but it also has, a good rhythmic sound, and again, the catchy chorus. It's just great. This is the one also with that awesome bass work in the back. You can really hear the layers, of each instrument. That's another thing with the vocals. Some really great layered vocals throughout, some good harmonies, and so this whole thing is great. But yeah, check out All Out War, and personally, I would say just check out this album. It's really good. Any fan of power metal, I think will enjoy. There's something here for you. Fans of heavy metal, there's something here for you. Fans of new wave of traditional heavy metal, something here for you. Just a fantastic, classic heavy power metal style album. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that. Needless to say, Jack Starr is burning bright. His star is burning bright here with this album. And yes, I was sitting on that one. I knew I was going to throw in that little pun. It's totally worth it. But anywho, yeah, just a great album. I can't praise it enough personally. So check it out. Let me know in the comments down below if you've listened to this album, and what do you think of it? Or if you haven't listened to it yet, are you anxious to listen to it? Or, all that stuff. Let's talk about it down there. But yeah, so that's what I got for you. That's Jack Starr's Burning Star, his latest album, Souls of the Innocent. And I'll catch you all next time. Ranger, out.